Hi, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our devotion for today, December 3rd, 2020, is from Nehemiah chapter 8, verses 13 through 18. On the second day, the heads of fathers' houses of all the people, with the priests and the Levites, came together to Ezra, the scribe, in order to study the words of the law. And they found it written in the law that the Lord had commanded by Moses that the people of Israel should dwell in booths during the feast of the 7th month, and that they should proclaim it and publish it in all their towns and in Jerusalem. Go out to the hills and bring branches of olive, wild olive, myrtle, palm, and other leafy trees to make booths, as it is written. Well, as the people of God have returned from exile and are becoming reacquainted with the law of Moses after 70 years without it, having been in exile, they have been listening intently, and they discover that God has issued a command for an 8-day feast. This is something that they had not kept since before they even went into exile. The people realized that they were in the 7th month right now as the law of Moses was being read to them. So it was the right time for them to have this feast. And so it was proclaimed and published that all the people should go into the hills and bring back branches of specific woods that we heard mentioned to make booths to live in for a week, as was commanded. And they are excited about obeying God's command and having the feast. One could say that this act was not just an act of obedience to the Lord, but it was also an act of repentance for what they had neglected to do for so many years. Have you ever felt that way? Trying to make up for something so hard, you're trying to make up for it so much that you're doing it with great enthusiasm, finally? So the people went out and brought them and made booths for themselves, each on his roof, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the square of the water gate, and in the square of the gate of Ephraim. And all the assembly of those who had returned from the captivity made booths and lived in the booths. For from the days of Joshua, the son of Nun, to the day the people of Israel had not done so. To that day, the people of Israel had not done so. And so there was very great rejoicing. So you see, the people come back with the wood and they make their booths, placing them on the roofs of their homes. They all had flat roofs. And so this was an easy thing for them to be able to do. And then they put booths everywhere, not only on the roofs of their homes, but in the squares of the temple and in the squares of the city, prominent places. And they were excited about all of this again. They were like a people who were new to the faith, and in many ways they were. That's how I've often experienced people new to the faith, so excited. They want to be involved in all kinds of things. And they hadn't really observed this festival faithfully since the days of Joshua nearly 1,000 years ago. Meaning up until this time here, there was 1,000 years, okay? It's been much longer now, but okay. And so they were having this festival. Do you get excited when you become part of something new? A new club, a new organization, maybe even a new church, and you just want to become involved as much as you can in that group? Verse 18, and day by day, from the first day to the last, they read the book of the law of God, and they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day, there was a solemn assembly according to the rule. So the people rejoiced, and they celebrated in the feast, doing the things they were supposed to do, like listening to the reading of the law. And they felt great knowing they were doing God's will. It is a great feeling when you know you're doing God's will, when your words and your behavior match what God is expecting or what God is demanding. The people could really rejoice then. And they were back home from exile. They were learning the law of Moses that God had given him and given them as God's chosen people. And they were enjoying a feast as they sought to be obedient to the law and to the Lord. The law, or the Lord, gives us wonderful moments of joy in our life. There are plenty of opportunities to celebrate that joy and to give thanks to God for those moments. Don't you think? Go in peace, serve the Lord.